Hi, good afternoon. This is Travis Clardy, coming to you from Austin, Texas, home of the Texas State Capitol, your Texas Healthcare Association. Good to be back with you again on this Friday for another weekend review. So looking over there, you see the Kate Dome still obscured by the scaffolding of the roofing project, which seemingly will never end. But it's, again, been a place of a lot of activity this week. Most of the members have gone home for the weekend. They had a full week. But next week is a big, big week. So let's encapsulate what's happened so far this year. Committees continue to meet, and we have seen U.S. HERS to take up several committees. We still continue to track for our members. The legislation has been pending out there concerning generators and the requirement for generators. The confusion we continue to have, and I think all of you know this, is there is some blending in people's minds about the difference between skilled nursing or long-term care versus assisted living. There are situations where we might have the elderly living at any given time, where we have had problems during emergencies. And so, yes, it's an area that needs to be addressed. But the problem we have is they keep trying to confuse who we are and what we do. Because as you know, we've already addressed this issue multiple times. We have learned from those experiences as a profession, and we already have in place, all of our members have in place, the Mercy Preparedness Plan, for all sorts of calamities and misadventures, but including loss of power in a hurricane type of environment. Of course, we're in the state of Texas where a whole lot of things can go wrong anytime, but that's because a whole lot of things go right in Texas. So, but we have been able to continue to preach the gospel of what we do here and remind them we have plans, we have generator, we can protect our food stuff, we can protect our pharmaceuticals, and we can protect our frail, vulnerable elderly in rooms that are equipped with generators to make sure issue force fulfills we think we be dressed for all elderly, not just those that we're fortunate enough to call our residents here at the THCA. So the otherwise, we had our legislation continues to move. We are everything has been filed and continue to focus on our three priorities. One is streamlining the change of ownership, the others have that's House Bill 3902 with the Representative Tony Rose. Senate Bill 2578 is also out there pending, and I appreciate that with Senator Hancock. Then we look at our confirming the provider at-risk eligibility. I had initially called with one of our members this week and really brought home to me the point of why this is such an important issue for us. Because I know out there we want to take in residents. We want people to be that are qualified to be able to take advantage of that eligibility under Medicaid, but they have paid for, as we all have paid for, through our taxes through the years. And so we want to take them in and put them in, but right now the process has gotten so tedious and time consuming, it's just not working. And we have heard this week about a story of two residents that have been in place for nearly 2 years without being approved for eligibility. We keep sending the information, it keeps coming back, keep sending the information. That's what we're trying to fix. Again, nobody's trying to do anything wrong. Nobody's trying to get over on anything. All we want to do is be able to take in people, take care of them, and let them get the benefits to which they're entitled, and have that money flow so we can pay for things like keeping the electricity on, having good food, having quality staff, all those things that you have to do. So we're going to continue to fight that fight, and I'm looking forward to that hearing. We don't think it'll be next week. I think that hearing's already filled that agenda with the week after. So 2 weeks basically from Tuesday. We should have those bills up, hopefully hearing in the House. We'll continue to work also for hearings in the Senate. And then we continue also to fight the fight about reforming the informal dispute resolution program and any duplicative penalties both on the federal and the state side. And again, appreciate our bill authors there working on that issue, and they full well understand how important that is to us. We run good shops. If mistakes are made, we know and expect it to be regulated, and surveyor come in to take a reasonable look at things. But what we don't know is when we fight those and go to all the time, trouble, and effort to convince the IMPRO that the surveyors, HHC made a mistake and are proven right, that not be observed and basically ignored and leave us in the same place we were. So all of these are important issues for our ownership and for our management. We'll continue to fight on that. Next week is going to be a big week. It is the single biggest week, probably, you want to get down to, with a session. It is Texas. There's only one piece of legislation that has to be passed, and that's the budget. This year started in the Senate. That's SB 1, which is a good number for a most important bill. And we're taking that up they'll be taken up in the House. And so there'll be a whole budget debate. So budget amendments are due to be filed on Monday, and they'll be taken up on the floor Thursday. It's already passed out of the Senate, it's come over to the House, and that process will begin in earnest Thursday. That has always proved to be a very long, full day of deliberation in the House of Representatives. I don't think that will be any different. The budget, I haven't seen the final number yet, because it's all will be tweaked some and then nibble around the edges, and it will go back to a Congress committee process. Let me come back to that. But it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of a $345 billion with a B budget, over a third of $1 trillion for the state of Texas. And so it represents the priorities we have in the state. What do we need to do? We put our money where our mouth is. And what our job is here at the THCA to make sure that those issues involving health care are accurately reflected and properly observed, and that we're able to take care of all Texans, regardless of age or race, or whether they're old or young, regardless of their physical condition, that we have those programs in place and they're funded, that we can continue to provide that essential service. I think that we all want to provide for people. Yeah. In Texas, we'll create programs just for the heck of it and just, hey, it's a good idea, let's spend more money. So it's a jealously guarded process, but throw nickels around the body with the conservative leadership at the statewide level. And again, it's important that we make sure we address those key important issues, particularly as it deals with our population as the frail and infirm and elderly. So that's going to be a fun day. So next Friday, we're going to have a very interesting thing to talk about. We all may be a little weary from a late night in the budget process, but we'll have a lot to talk about and what went through and some of the ups and downs. There has been a lot of, I don't want to get off into politics, but a lot of talk and grandstanding about the budget and the process. But again, I think there's a lot of serious-minded legislators and a lot of serious-minded people who work on the budget issues and the staff level, agency level. And I think it's all going to come together. And again, if you don't pass the budget, you can't go home. You've got to pass the budget. That's the one thing we're constitutionally required to do. And I'm confident that will happen. So it'll move out of the House, presumably. I'm very confident it'll pass. There'll be a few people vote against the budget. That's their prerogative. I don't think that's the right thing to do, but that's they're elected to make decisions. If that's what they should do, then I guess they will do it. But I am convinced that there will be an overwhelming majority in the House to pass the budget. It will then move back, and then the Senate and the House will call conferees, likely chaired by the chair, Senator Joan Huffman in the Senate deep body. They'll come together and bang out the differences between the two versions of the budget that passed. All clean resultant document that goes to the governor's office, who his staff will then go through it, and the governor will look at it and might strike some things and line items and things. That's another subject for another day. But at the end of the day, I think that we will see a budget wrapped up and finalized during the regular session this term. So that's a good thing, because what that means to everybody, whether you're outside the building or inside the building, is with the budget passes, there's a much higher probability that you'll be able to go home in the 140 days, which is how this thing is designed to work. There's nothing special about a special session, trust me on that. So with that, this new pivot, and call it that state focus. So again, that's our role here. We're the Texas affiliate for the American Healthcare Association. As all of you know, there's a lot going on in D.C. as well. The Medicaid review process is ongoing, with the provider tax is being looked at, with knives in hand and looking cuts to make. This is, as you well know, across the budget, across the DOGE committee efforts, there has been a focus on a number of agencies and departments, but including Health and Human Services and the Medicaid budget. Just got hot off of presses, if you have heard, Dr. Oz, a TV personality, a medical doctor, was just confirmed as the CMS director. CMS, as you know, is the overseer of the state programs and how they work and how the money flows in and out of our state and federal budget that supports many of our programs. So Dr. Oz is in that role. We're very optimistic, and he spoke to this in his confirmation, that we are going to see the reform of the federal staffing mandate, which the lawsuit we filed this past summer continues to move forward, and are very confident in budget reconciliation or just by direct action by the new CMS director, Dr. Amit Oz. So that is in play. There's some concern and some talk about how this might affect upper payment limit or equip program. Anyway, we did, I think last time we talked, has been some hang up. There's been a little bit of a delay in processing because some of the confusion in the numbers and the data that HHSC used to prepare the QUIP payments for Q1 year 8 of the QUIP program. We think that's generally been resolved. So one thing I'm asking for you again, we were assured by the MCOs, managed care organizations, that monies are going to flow as early as Thursday, Friday last, and certainly by Monday, Tuesday of this week. And money, we understand, and we're hearing back from our members, that yes, in fact, funds are being received. It's not the entire quarter 1 payment, but it should reflect roughly half of it. I talked to former commissioner and one of our consultants and my dear friend from 5th grade through high school in Lubbock, Texas, Chris Traylor. He's continued to stay engaged with the Commissioner Young's office, and that they are working through how to reconcile the remainder of Q1 and have that processed and out the door, which should fund timely, on schedule, as of around June 15th. So good news there. With the entire UPL program and what if any cuts or reductions could be done there. I'm hoping, and we are communicating with our Texas delegation, both at the House and Senate level in the federal government, that this is something we need to be careful with, because this really has been something that has saved the operations of our Texas providers. Because as we all know, the fact is, this isn't opinion, this is a fact. Texas is 45th, 46th, somewhere in the bottom of the bottom quintile of pay rates for Medicaid reimbursement. And so the QUIP program has done a lot of good things in Texas, not only support our ability to provide care for our elderly residents, but also many of our rural hospitals and hospital districts who participate in the QUIP and provide the intergovernmental transfers for the monies drawn down at the upper payment limit, which is really provide us the resources to be successful and to provide quality care for our residents. So we want to be very, very careful. Then the contact with Tiff Porter, my counterpart and opposite number, is the president of the AHCA, and they have done yeoman's work up there. And I'm looking forward after this. When this circus leaves town out of Austin, I'll be to address those issues to see where we are. So again, I know it's the world is in flux. Not talking politics and not going into economics, but we've seen the markets have been rather embroiled in the last 2 days with a lot of public tariffs and other things. And this is everything's interrelated. If tariffs talk happen, the markets react badly. Money goes up, money goes down. I guess comes opportunity. Yes, it's a challenge and there's some risk, but I think there also is an opportunity for us to take advantage of some things and to move some program forward. And hopefully we will be able to eliminate some federal waste and reduce size of government and be able to use the money more for care, the actual need, rather than the support of just a bloated administration. So we will see how this builds over time. But it takes a lot of work. It took what are we looking at here? 250 years of this of the experience of the American Revolution and the American people. And as our experiment goes forward in the American way, I guess there once in a while you have to check things and retool and relook at it. So we're doing that, and hopefully in a measured and reasonable way that again benefits really who deserve the benefits that we have under both our state and federal system. So that's where we are, kind of big picture. Again, next week, budget week. A couple things I do want to remind you of, though, while I'm thinking about this. Coming up this summer, as soon as we get out of here, sign die, after the Memorial Day weekend, we will be having the Texas Healthcare Association Summer Retreat and Political Action Committee Golf Tournament. And that's going to be at the DFW Marriott Champions Circle in Fort Worth. And that's you'll build. If you haven't registered, get out there and register. There's plenty of sponsors for our associate business members to look at the packet. We sent that email out to several people, and that's to all of our members, all of our folks. And so you'll probably be getting calls of solicitations to join us to register for the events. It's a great program. I did our first one last week, or last year down in Houston, in Margaritaville. This one is going to be a likewise a very positive event, and not only to network and meet your work peers, and to meet others that service the long-term care space, but also have a nice, fun time, support our little political action issues occurred, and we get a voice in the political process. So, and that's the 18th, 15th through the 18th, DFW Marriott Champion Circle Fort Worth. Be checking your email for that. Sign up early. Make your reservations because we're having a great time. A lot of fun events. We'll have fun, but we'll also have some great educational opportunities. We have a great educational program for everybody to get their CEUs, and you will learn a lot. I was so impressed the last session, the last time we did this. So keep that in mind. That will be coming up this summer, and that's not too far away. So again, next week's budget week. After that, we'll roll into Holy Week. I think we'll have Good Friday, then an Easter Sunday. So we'll take probably a little time. But one thing people don't realize in the Texas legislature, 140 days when you come down to the last 60 days, which is where we are. Today actually is the 80th day of a 140-day session. So when we get back next Monday, it'll be less than 2 months before the last day, before we sign and die, to terminate and end this regular session. So that is coming up quite soon. But once you get serving, there were several times we worked actually through a full day on Memorial Day. We worked that Saturday, that Sunday, to push things through and get it. Now, like a lot of people, I never quite understood it. It still don't. I think a lot of folks don't. Why we have to backload the effort, but there is a process. And it can move fast sometimes. Sometimes it can move slow. But at the end of the day, we use the time allotted and we'll push this thing through and rack up the session. And hopefully everybody can go home after 140 days. So, but that's going to pick up with a lot of energy, a lot of activity. Our bills will be moving. So the next few weeks, we'll have a lot more to talk about where we are. As bills move through the committee, you'll see amendments made and changes made, committee substitutes offered, and then get to the floor. I believe our last day to hear House bills on second reading, I want to say is May 15th. I believe that's correct. I'll check that and let you know next time. So there's a time in which you go to literally midnight on that day, and if your bill doesn't get heard, well, that's the end of it. And a lot of bills, you can hear the bills dying in the background as the clock ticks midnight. So, but that'll be another. With that, I think we have talked about virtually everything we have going on. But again, I think we're off to a good session. I've really enjoyed the people we work with. I want to again thank the folks at Griffin Communications for putting all these little weekend reviews and the messages we're pushing out. Have done a great job. And we have Public Affairs and Longleaf Consulting. I mentioned Chris Traylor. We have and others that have worked with us that are helping push these issues, and the collaboration and the team we put together, I think, is serving us all very well. So it's Friday is down and going to the house. I hope you all have a great and blessed weekend. Until we call next time, God bless all of you, and God bless Texas. Bye-bye.